Hi, good morning everybody. In last class we discussed something. All of you read your textbook? Okay. Did you study everything? All question answers? Okay. Did you prepare assignment work? Okay. Total 20 questions. Total 20 questions. Firstly, you want to write 10 questions. Did you write that 10 questions? Okay. Then, previous class we discussed something. What are the key features of Indian Constitution? Okay. How many features we discussed? 2 features. Can you say what are the features? Mubashira, can you say what are the features? How many features here? 5 features. Then Rida. Okay. What is the federalism? Sabit. Nihal. Sinan. Okay. Adil Shaukat. Did you read your textbook? Did you read your textbook? How many times? Okay. Then listen here. Indian Constitution key features we already discussed 2. But what are the 5 features? The first one, federalism. The second one, parliamentary form of government. Third one, separation of powers. The fourth one, fundamental rights. The fifth one, secularism. Okay, federalism and parliamentary form of government is over. Federalism, then parliamentary form of government is over. Then what is the third one? Separation of powers. Separation of powers. For next, separation of powers. Today we want to discuss the separation of powers. That is the another feature of Indian Constitution. Okay. According to the Constitution, there are 3 organs of the state. According to the Constitution, here is mainly 3 organs of the state. These are legislature, executive and judiciary. What are the 3? Legislature, then executive, what is the next one? Judiciary. Okay, what are the 3 organs? Legislature, executive, judiciary. Okay, legislature, executive, judiciary. Rehana, can you say these 3? What is that 3 organs of the state? What are the 3 organs of the state? Legislature, executive and judiciary. Okay. Then, according to the Constitution, there are 3 organs of the state. These are the legislature, executive and judiciary. The legislature refers to our elected representatives. Legislature, here is included elected representatives. Who are included the legislature? Elected representatives. Okay. Then the executive is a smaller group of people who are responsible for implementing laws and running the government. Executive, that is the smaller group of people. Listen, the first one, legislature, that refer to elected representatives. Legislature here is included elected representatives. Then executive, small group of people. Executive here is a small group of people. Then who are responsible for implementing laws and running the government. These executives are responsible for implementing laws and running the government. Whose responsibility? Hannah. Whose responsibility? Implementing laws and running the government. Yes, executives responsibility. Okay. Then the judiciary, of which you will read more in Unit 3 of this book, refers to the system of courts in this country. In order to prevent the misuse of power by any one branch of the state, the Constitution says that each of these organs should exercise different powers. Each of these organs. Listen, here is a executive is a smaller group of people who are responsible for implementing laws and running government. Then judiciary, of which you will read more in 3rd chapter, there is included the judiciary. Okay, here is many laws existing. Okay, here is the final authority, that is the judiciary, that is the independent authority. Okay, we want to study more details. Our 5th chapter there is included judiciary. We will discuss later. Okay, Salim, is it clear? Then through this, each organ acts as a check on other organs of the state, and this ensures the balance of power between all three. Listen, through this, here is our Constitution says that each of these organs should exercise different powers. Different organs have different power. Legislature, there is included elected representative that has some powers. Then executive, small group of people. What is the duty of this? Implementing laws and running the government. Okay, the next one, judiciary, that is an independent organ or a independent power. All powers here is the judiciary have. Then judiciary that will decide everything. Then here is separating these powers. That's why these organs work very well. Through this, each organ acts as a check on the other organs of the state, and this ensures the balance of power between all three. Balance of power between all three here is between this legislature, executive and judiciary. When you hear this feature, you think about the separation of powers. There is 3 important organs. What are the 3 included? Legislature, executive and judiciary. Okay. The next one, fundamental rights. It is the most important feature of Indian Constitution. What is that? Fundamental right. What is the 4th one? Fundamental right. Fundamental rights. The section of fundamental rights has often been referred to as the concerns of the Indian Constitution. It is the concerns of the Indian Constitution. That means here is an agreement. Okay, listen. Colonial rule had created a certain suspicion of the state in the minds of the nationalists, and they wanted to ensure that a set of written rights would guard against the misuse of a state. Okay, fundamental rights. You heard about fundamental rights? Okay, how many fundamental rights here? Farhana, how many fundamental rights? 6 fundamental rights. Okay, how many fundamental rights? 6. Minhaj, can you say what are the fundamental rights? Okay, listen. Here is mainly 6 fundamental rights. The first one, right to equality. What is the first one? Right to equality. Right to equality. What is the next one? right to freedom. Okay, right to equality, right to freedom. Aniza, Munzira. Then what is the next one? Right against exploitation. Right against exploitation. Nadima, can you say what is the another one? Right to freedom of religion. Right to freedom of religion. Rana, newcomer, any idea about another thing? Another fundamental right? Cultural and educational rights. Cultural and educational rights. Then what is the next one? Ria, Nia, any idea? Okay, right to constitutional remedies. What is the next one? Right to constitutional remedies. Okay, now here is we discussing what are the fundamental rights. Here is mainly 6 fundamental rights. Okay, the fundamental rights in Indian Constitution. First one, all of you want to say right to equality, then right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. All of you say these fundamental rights 5 times. All of you want to read, or all of you want to say the fundamental rights. I repeat once more. Right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. Did you read? Okay. Yes. Then we want to discuss more details related to this. The first one, right to equality. But what is our first fundamental right? Right to equality. Okay. All persons are equal before the law. But what is the right to equality? All persons are equal before the law. This means that all persons shall be equally protected by the laws of the country. All persons shall be equally protected laws of the country. Okay. It also states that no citizens can be discriminated against on the basis of their religion, sex, caste, etc. Okay. Here is fundamental rights. We know that 6 fundamental rights we already discussed. Here is 2. Right to equality, right to freedom. Okay, what are the 6 fundamental rights? Right to equality, right to freedom, then right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, then cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. Okay, then right to equality, that means all are equal before the law. Then right to freedom, Here is freedom of speech and expression, and also we can reside in any part of our country, we can move in any part of our country. Then next one, right against exploitation. What is the next one? Right against exploitation. Exploitation means ചൂഷണം ചെയ്യുക. Okay. Then the constitution prohibits human trafficking, forced labor and children working under 14 years of age. The constitution prohibits or the constitution prevents human trafficking. That is the here is used some immoral purposes. Okay, that means the illegal things, illegal trade. Then forced labor and children working under 14 years of, that means here is child labor, that also prevent. It is included right against exploitation. Next one, right to freedom of religion. Right to freedom of religion, that's very important. Listen, here is religious freedom is provided to all citizens. All citizens have, here is religious freedom. Okay. Then every person has the right to practice, profess and propagate the religion of their choice. We can choose our religion, their own choice. We can choose our religion. If we want to change our religion, if we want to accept another religion, that is not a problem, because here is allowed. That means religious freedom. Here is existing religious freedom. We can practice any religion here. Then cultural and educational rights. Another important right, that is the cultural and educational rights. The next fundamental right is the cultural and educational rights. The Constitution states that all minorities, religious or linguistic, can set up their own educational institutions in order to preserve and develop their own culture. The Constitution states that all minorities, minority people means ന്യൂനപക്ഷക്കാർ, comparing to other here is less number, that is the minorities. Minorities, religious or linguistic, maybe religious or linguistic. Linguistic means language based. Okay, then it can set up their own educational institutions in order to preserve and develop their culture. If they want to develop their culture, if they want to follow their beliefs, they can start their own educational institutions. That also allowed here. It is included the cultural and educational rights. Okay, the next one is the right to constitutional remedies. Here the important fundamental rights, 6 fundamental rights. The 6th fundamental right is the right to constitutional remedies. That means previous constitutions, if anybody try to violate any fundamental right, we can approach the court. That included the 6th one, that is the constitutional remedies. Remedies means പരിഹാരങ്ങൾ കണ്ടെത്തുക. Okay, then this allow citizens to move the court if they believe that any of their fundamental rights have been violated by the state. Any of them violated the fundamental right, we can approach the court. Okay, anybody try to violate our fundamental right, listen here, fundamental rights. Okay, this on the basis of this we can't do anything. That means for example, right to freedom, I have a right to freedom. This in case of you, you also have the same right. That's why we want to maintain this, otherwise it is badly affected. That means if anybody try to violate these fundamental rights, we can approach the court. That thing is included the right to constitutional remedies. The പരിഹാരം കണ്ടെത്തുന്നതിന്. Okay, I repeat the same point, that is the fundamental rights. Fundamental rights we already discussed. Here is some description related to this. The section of the fundamental rights has often been referred to as the conscience of the Indian Constitution. Colonial rule had created a certain suspicion of the state in the minds of the nationalists, and they wanted to ensure that a set of written rights would guard against the misuse of the state power in independent India. Our nationalists or constitution makers decided one thing. Under colonial rule, here many things, that means many bad incidents happened. But we want to avoid these type of incidents. After getting independent, here one written document, that document want to protect the citizens. That's why here is they added the fundamental rights. Okay. Then the fundamental rights therefore protect citizens against the arbitrary and absolute exercise of power by the state. Okay. It protect from the arbitrary. Okay. What do you mean by arbitrary? When nothing is fixed and instead left to one's judgment or choice. This can be used to refer to rules that are not fixed or decisions that have no basis, etc. That means here is a state decided one thing, others want to obey the same thing. That's not it. Here is existing some fundamental rights. It protect the citizens. Okay, these fundamental rights protect the citizens. Okay, then the Constitution thus guarantees the right of individuals against the state as well as against other individuals. It protect these fundamental rights, protect against the state and as well as against other individuals. Okay, from individuals, from states, it protect. What protect? Fundamental rights. Is it clear? What is the need of fundamental rights or what is the importance of fundamental rights? You want to by heart the fundamental rights. It's very, very important. All of you want to write these fundamental rights 5 times in your rough book. For what purpose? When I ask this question, not only I, other person also, what are the fundamental rights? You want to say the fundamental rights. Okay. Then, moreover, the various minority communities also express the need for the Constitution to include rights that would protect their groups. The Constitution therefore also guarantees the rights of minorities against the majority. It also guarantees the rights of minorities against the majority. Then, as Dr. Ambedkar has said about these fundamental rights, their object is twofold. The first objective is that every citizen must be in a position to claim those rights. Underline that. Listen, here is their object. Okay, object means aim. Okay, that is the twofold. The first one is the first objective is that every citizen must be in position to claim those rights. Every citizen must be in a position to claim those rights. That means here is these fundamental rights. And secondly, these rights must be binding upon every authority that has got the power to make laws. Okay, you want to binding up. Listen, upon the every authority that has got the power to make laws. In addition to fundamental rights, the Constitution also has a section called Directive Principles of State Policy. Underline that. In addition to fundamental rights, the Constitution also has a section. Which section? Directive Principles of State Policy. Additionally, here is another section also, that is called Directive Principles of State Policy. This section was designed by the members of the Constituent Assembly to ensure greater social and economic reform and to serve as a guide to the independent Indian state to institute laws and policies that help reduce the poverty of the masses. Listen, this section was designed by the members of the Constituent Assembly. Which section? That means the Directive Principles of State Policy. For what purpose? To ensure greater social and economic reform, to serve as a guide to the independent Indian state to institute laws and policies that help to reduce the poverty of the masses. The introductory part of key features we discussed. Here is need some socio-economic reforms. For what purpose? Here is socio-economic reforms, eradicating poverty. Eradicating poverty through socio-economic reforms. That's why here is these socio-economic reforms included. Here is the additional right, that is the Directive Principles of State Policy. Is it clear? Okay. Then our fifth fundamental right, that is the secularism. What is our fifth one? Secularism. Secularism, that's very familiar word, that is not related to any religion. That means here is no official religion. Okay. Secularism. A secular state is one in which the state does not officially promote any one religion as the state religion. The state does not officially promote any one religion as the state religion. We will read more about in the following chapter. That means in the second chapter there is more details related to the secularism. Okay, you want to underline that the secular state is one in which the state does not officially promote any one religion as the state religion. Here is officially not promote any one religion. Here is no official religion. That is the speciality of our constitution. You now understand the ways in which a country's history often determines the kind of constitution that a country adopts for itself. Now, we understood one thing. What is the importance of constitution? For what purpose here is constitution? We know that the constitution, there is some slight changes that we call amendments. Okay, if we want to newly added something, we can add, but there is a greater change that cannot. What is the reason? For example, the introductory part of this chapter we discussed one game. Which game? Football. Okay, we know that football, cricket, there is some basic principles. If we try to change that basic principles, what happened there? The game completely changed. Same as in case of our constitution. If we try to change the basic principles, our constitution completely changed. That's why we can't do that. Is it clear? Okay. Then the constitution plays a crucial role in laying out the ideals that we would like all citizens of the country to adhere to, including the representatives that we elect to rule us. Just like in the game of football, a change of constitutive rules will affect the game. Indian constitution has been changed over the years to reflect new concerns of the polity. Often, a major change in the constitution means a change in the fundamental nature of the country. Okay, listen, a major change in the constitution, that means a change in the fundamental nature of the country. Okay, we saw this in case of Nepal and how it needs to adopt a new constitution after it has recently become a democratic society. Okay, we discussed here. If we try to change the constitution, the basic principles of the constitution, that lost the nature of the constitution. Okay, we know one thing, in case of Nepal, after independence they adopted a new constitution because there is a ruling system completely changed. Firstly there is existing monarchy, then democracy. After adopting democracy, they are drafting a new constitution. Okay, then the different features of Indian constitution outlined above involve complicated ideas that are often not too easy to grasp. Okay, not easy to grasp. Listen, here we already discussed something that is related to Indian constitution. Firstly, why do we need a constitution? Then what are the key features of Indian constitution? We understood something, but maybe there is some doubts also. You don't worry about that. The another chapters or the resting chapters, there is included more details related to this, and also the next year, the coming years, that means when you reach in 9th and 10th, you will study more details related to this topic. Okay, now we just discussed few things. Okay, then don't worry too much about this for this moment. In the rest of the book as well as in your higher classes, you will read more about these different features of the Indian constitution and understand more substantially what they mean. Okay, you will study later more details related to this topic. Okay, our first chapter is over. Okay, listen, Indian constitution, that chapter is over. Then I will give question answers later. you want to study all question answers. Regularly want to read your textbook very carefully, and also want to prepare 21 word questions. 10 questions maybe you earlier prepared, now remaining 10 also. Then another important thing, here is some questions included. Okay, that means here is a blue color, some questions this type of. You want to read that questions and find the answers. Later we want to discuss the correct answer. Okay, firstly you want to find. Then here is the exercise part, that also want to read. I will give some more questions. Don't want to write all questions, but you want to find everything. Okay, then here is I already informed you, here is one glossary. Okay, here is some important word meanings. You expect one word questions from there, you want to study that. Okay, that only. Okay children, to be continued on next class. See you later. Thank you.